Hello, Abby of Abby Tales Pet Services here. I thought I would do a video about getting your dog used to being left alone. Now this is important for people who are about to or have adopted a rescue dog, and also who are about to or have already welcomed a puppy into the home. It's more common having to deal with certain anxieties such as separation with puppies, although it can be found in rescue dogs, but they are usually a little better at being left alone because of being in a rescue centre, although they're not completely alone, are they? They're in kennels with other dogs, but we're talking about human contact here. But that's by the by. So, and this is also aimed to those people who, bless them, are getting ready to go back to work now due to lockdown kind of relaxing. And I just want to tell you guys, please don't be scared, don't be fearful. We can sort this. We can do this. So whether your dog was used to being left alone and then lockdown happened and now they've kind of regressed in regards to being left alone, or a new dog to your household, that you're trying to show them boundaries and what is accepted and what isn't acceptable behaviour. Because it's very important that dogs have boundaries, because they're not us, so they're not going to mind read and understand what we want them to do without being shown. So it's quite unfair of us to think that they will just be amazing without being shown. The noise is in the background, by the way. Nellie is eating a tennis ball and Zena is upstairs with a bone. Anyway, so yes. Now, as well as it being important that you get yourself, as well as your dog, puppy, used to them being left alone, it is also important how you interact with said dog when you're in the same room. So giving your dog attention is awesome and necessary for their growth. Also, on a base level, that's why we get a dog, isn't it? To have to give attention and to receive attention, company. However, there needs to be, like I've said, boundaries. So attention, especially when your pup is still quite young, or you've had the first few weeks of having a rescue dog, you need to be quite strict with yourself. So attention needs to be on your terms and your terms only. Then you can kind of slightly relax that as they start to understand what's expected of them. Then you don't have to be thinking, oh, I need to make sure that it's on my attention all the time. Attention's on my terms all the time. However, if behaviour does then digress for some reason, then you can bring that rule back in. So, by your terms, I mean, you call, let's say, your puppy. You call your puppy over to you, which is great because you're reinforcing recall, which is very important and needs to be worked on even before you start taking them for a walk. And reinforcing their name also, if you want to pop their name in there. It is important to have a recall command, guys, not just use their name, because you're going to use their name all the time. So they're going to be like, well, what do you want me to do? I don't know what you want me to do. So their name is a way of getting their attention. Yeah? But it doesn't tell them what to do. Whereas if you say, Rufus, come, he understands when you've shown him what come means, that you want him to come here. Or Rufus, sit. Or Rufus, down. You don't always need to use the name, and this is what I'm saying. It's important for commands to be popped in. So yes, calling them over to you is bringing them into your space. You're inviting them into your space, right? This is important. So you're inviting them into your space. If they come over to you and you haven't called them, right, which is quite common because they're very social creatures, and then you give them attention, they're like, oh, well, whenever I go anywhere near my owner or the visitors, I'm going to get attention. This can then lead to a very clingy dog who doesn't want to leave your side, let alone be in another room or you leave the house. And it can lead to a very stressed dog and very stressed owners. And it can lead to destruction, urination, defecation, all sorts of things. Even to the extreme where they start to basically self-mutilate. We don't want that. So, by having attention on your terms, you're showing them, yes, you can have attention, but when I say so. So if they come up to you and doing the cute thing of the pawing you, or nuzzling at you, or bringing a toy over to you, or even in some cases nipping, biting, barking, ignore it. Even cute things such as, oh, look at my belly, give me a belly rub. Ignore it, because it's like, I want you to touch me. Touch me now, human. No. Needs to be on your terms. Like I said, it's very important for the first few weeks, especially the first few weeks, but this will depend on the personality of your pup as to how long it takes them to kind of fit in to your routine. By routine, I mean what you do. I don't mean them being set certain times for walks and feeding. You can do that, but I personally think that that's kind of setting a rod for your own back. My dogs are not fed at set times. They're fed between 4 and 7 in the evening, and then between when I get up and I think the latest I've fed them is 11 in the morning, but that's because we woke up at 9. So and we went for a walk, so it depends. Don't be worried, they're playing with each other. So if you heard that, so doing all these cute things, or barking, nipping, so you ignore them first. You've got to set them up for success. So they need to understand, right, okay, so that's the kind of the first strike. If they keep going and it's unwanted behavior, so nipping, barking, then you can then use isolation as a consequence of action. Now I talk about that in a few of my other videos. Good girls. Zena, come. Good girl. Now, whenever I call my girls over, I touch them lightly, gently, just to kind of reinforce, and also it shows them that they need to come within touching distance when I call them. Now that was a whistle. I whistle them. I also say come if they need a little bit of encouragement, but I did that because I wanted to break the concentration of what was happening there. They were playing a little bit too loudly for when I'm recording a video. I don't want to tell them to shut up or be quiet. They're just playing, but it was getting a little too loud. I didn't want it to be too loud for you guys. Listen. So I'm all right with this, but if it gets a bit more, I'm just going to take the toy off them. So I'm going to take the toy off them. Girls, leave. Nelly, leave. Good girl. And that is that. And if they find another toy to play with and is still loud, I'll take that toy away from them. If not, great, they're just going to settle themselves down. See, Nelly is inviting Xena into play by making noise and brandishing a ball in front of her face. And now Xena is taking the ball and they're playing with each other. That's okay, but if it gets a bit too loud for my liking, I'll just take it away. Now, what I was saying with the unwanted behavior, so biting, barking, especially when they're wanting attention from you, ignore first. And then what you can do is you can ask them, or tell them, to go onto their bed or their crate or down. Best to kind of give them a place to go. Or you can jump straight to isolation as a consequence of action. So you're popping them into a room that has no humans, no other dogs, no cats, no stimuli, but a safe room. So puppy proof, especially with pups. And then once they're calm, you wait a minute or two, you bring them back into the room, you ignore them, and then you call them over to you so they understand, right, okay, if I do that again, I'm going to be popped away. Yeah, and this, you may need to do it a few times, not necessarily in one go, as it were, but you may need to do it a few times when unwanted behavior occurs, just so that they can understand, some dogs learn quicker than others, that this is what happens if I do unwanted behavior. And if I do wanted behavior, I get attention and praise and treats or toys, depending on what drives them, whether they're play or food driven. So yes, like I said, attention on your terms, and then dealing with them demanding for attention. So you ignore, and you can tell them to go on their bed if you want to, or you can jump straight to isolation. Kind of depends on how you interact with your dog, really. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do because they're not my dog. So that's important. What is also important is letting them have space to amuse themselves. So my girls are playing with each other. They've actually quiet now. They've just decided they're just going to chill. Nelly is lying on Xena, mouth open, ball slightly in there, in her mouth. In fact, I'll see if I can... I don't know if you guys can see, but that's very common for Nelly. So, yes, and it's important. Yes, I took a toy away from them when they were being a bit too loud because I'm doing this, but it's important that I didn't want to stop that play because this interaction, they're playing with each other. But if it gets too much for any reason, I decide to step in, and there's no need to shout. But yes, it's important that they get time to play with each other if you've got more than one, or to amuse themselves if you've only got one. Or even if you have multiple, it is important for them to have their own time as well. And this is especially important, sorry, this is especially important for households who have children, especially young children. So yes, puppies need lots of sleep, but as well as sleep, they'll need some time to just chill and be away from children. So this is why crates and puppy pens and things are quite helpful. So you can kind of say, this is a no-go zone when the puppy's in the puppy pen or the crate, or just the puppy pen in general if it's around the crate. Leave them alone, because the puppy needs time away from children and also away from you, to just, one, to get used to not being with you all the time, because like I said, you don't want to limp it, because that can lead to separation anxiety, and also to just be and amuse themselves, chew a bone, play with a ball by themselves, you know. It's important, because otherwise they are going to be reliant on you all the time. And also with small children and puppies or rescue dogs, too much interaction can annoy the dog, and this can lead to nipping, biting, annoyed behaviour, and we don't want that, because there will be subtle signals that the dog or puppy is like, please leave me alone, and the children may not necessarily understand, you may not understand, and they keep pushing, and that's when biting happens. So yes, so it's important how you interact with your dog, and this will help with their behaviour in general, and also will help with the ease of being able to leave them alone for periods of time, as in you not being in the room or the house. So once you've established how important it is that attention is on your terms, and you give them space even when you're in the same room, then you can start to leave the room. Don't say anything. This is important. So you're not saying anything. You're not saying goodbye, because you don't want them to think that something scary or exciting is happening. So don't interact with them. No eye contact, nothing. You just leave, shut the door, count to 3 or 5, come back in, ignore them as though you haven't done anything. If you're finding this difficult, go make a cup of tea. Go get something. So have something in your head, I'm going to go do this thing, so you don't then feel, oh, I need to say hello to my puppy. Yeah? And then you can increase that. So you go out, you stay out for 20 seconds. You come back in, you go out 30 seconds, then a minute and a half, then 2 minutes, then you could even jump to 5 minutes. If that doesn't work, bring it back down, go, yeah? And then keep this practice going. So every time you go to the toilet, leave the puppy. If you're worried about the puppy being alone, I would suggest a puppy pen is really good, even if you're not crating. So you've got a space where they can be free, as it were, but they're not going to hurt themselves. Or if they do have a little mess, so they relieve themselves, it's going to be in a certain area, preferably not carpet. I wouldn't put carpet. Yes, and if you've got children, they leave them alone when they're in the puppy pen. So go have a shower, go to the toilet, go do this, go into the kitchen. I'm not saying they have to be separate from you all the time, but it just gets them used to it. It will make leaving them, as in leaving them in the house alone, Nelly's trying to get Zena's attention, a lot easier if they're not encouraged to be limpets in the house. So, you know, I hear some people say, oh, I'm so scared that I'm going to hurt my dog, or I've tripped over my dog. Nelly, what are you doing? because they're always under my feet, and when I'm in the kitchen and I drop something and that. So my girls can be in the kitchen, they sleep in the kitchen, but they understand now, because I've shown them was wanted and unwanted behaviour, that when I'm cooking they can't come into a certain part of the kitchen, and I hardly ever have to remind them. And if I have to remind them, I don't shout at them. You know, you've got to set them up for success here, and you don't want to teach them out of fear either. So, yes, making sure that attention is on your terms and that they're given ample opportunity. Girls. Good girl. Good girls. Zizi. Zena, come. Come on. Good girl. Now, Zena has to be reminded sometimes, because bless her, sometimes she feels a bit sidelined by Nelly. Nelly will dash to me when I call them. So Zena has to kind of be reassured that she's not going to have her head banged by a mini Rottie. By mini, she's not intended to be a mini Rottie, she's just small. She's rescue, and we think kind of badly bred. But yes, so attention on your terms. Ignore when they're demanding attention from you, and get them used to not being by your side all the time when they're in the same room, and leave them when you go to the toilet, the shower, and then it will make it a lot easier when you're going out of the house. And then when you do go out of the house, start slowly. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because it is different. They'll know when you're in and out of the house. I'd also recommend leaving some music on, low level. I use classic FM, Radio 2, jazz FM, nothing too in your face, you know. And you can give them something to do also, but they don't want to be reliant on, you don't want to make a big thing about it. Oh, I've got to give them a chew, or I've got to give them a toy. And, oh, no, and now I'm leaving. It's kind of leave it out and make sure they're settled, they've been to the toilet, important for toilet training, and then leave nice and calmly. Yeah, because they'll pick up on it. They're emotionally very intelligent creatures. Zena's got the chew toy and it's like, you are not having it from me. So if you're feeling stressed, they're going to be like, oh, why is she stressed? Do I need to be stressed? Oh my God. Whereas if you're calm, you can be calm. This is the same when you're on a walk also, but we'll go into that in a different video. So yes, attention on your terms. Get them used to not needing to be right on you all the time when you're in the same room. So don't allow them to need to be on you to sleep. A lot of owners fall into this trap with puppies. It is very cute, but don't let that become a habit all the time. And don't let them demand attention, and nice and slowly, gradually get them used to being left. So for those of you who are going back to work in a few days, start now. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to do it, leave them and they're going to be really, really stressed. Start now. But what I would suggest is for pups, if you are having to go back to work, if they're going to be left alone for more than an hour, I would suggest getting a family friend or a dog walker. And if you do need a dog walker and I'm not in your area, please contact me anyway. I might know some people in your area. I know quite a few awesome dog walkers and sitters in various areas, as well as trainers. So yes, just to break their time up, because one, we don't want them to get bored at a young age. They get bored more easily. Two, we don't want to undo the work you're doing with toilet training. Like I said, their bladders are nice and quite small. So yes, that's my kind of tips of how to get your dog being used to being left, and how to get you used to leaving them, and how to go about doing that in general when you are actually with them. So getting them used to that concept as well. So not being reliant on you all the time. All right. Okay. Any questions, please comment below or send me a message. The banner photo on my YouTube channel takes you straight to my website. You can also send messages via my email, abbytailspetservices@gmail.com, or via Facebook, Abby Tails Pet Services, or Instagram, Abby Tails Pet Services. If you haven't already, please subscribe, share if you like it, and if you have any behavioural issues in your home, please message me or comment on here, and if possible, I'll do a video about it, or I'll get back to you privately, depending on what's more appropriate. Okay? See you later.